Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to pitchatpalace Africa 3.0. I'm not quite sure whether we're going to go on with this numbers game, but we're just going to go on and on and on, and it just proves that we've been around for rather longer than we thought. It's a pleasure to welcome you all here this evening. We have for you this evening entrepreneurs from across Africa, 17 brilliant businesses coming from 5 countries. Now, 17, that does mean that you're going to be sitting here for a little bit longer than is normal. And so I just want you to understand these chairs are designed not to allow you to go to sleep. So if you need to stretch and shuffle, wait for Heather, the moderator. Where are you, Heather? There you are. Let you. We'll have probably a leg stretch at some point. Otherwise, it'd be unfair on making you sit in these. But unfortunately, with so much interest in these entrepreneurs that are coming from Africa, it's a bit more complicated. We've got to put more people in. So I beg your indulgence to live uncomfortably for a couple of hours. This event is a very special event in our calendar because we work in Africa alongside the Royal Academy of Engineering. And it's a great privilege to work with them because they have a huge network across Africa and do a huge amount to encourage this sort of activity in a number of different jurisdictions. But we partner because we think that we can actually help showcase some of the great things that are going on in Africa. And you're going to hear more from the Chief Executive of the Royal Academy shortly. One of the things that I want to talk to you about tonight, before we start, is how important you are as an audience to having an impact on these entrepreneurs. The connections that you can make just by being here and listening to these entrepreneurs is just untold how valuable it is. Because you are sitting there and you will be listening to them and you'll suddenly go, I know exactly who they need to be connected with. And if there's one thing that makes the difference to these businesses more than anything else, it's the connections that you can make for them. So I just want you to think about that whilst this is going on. The other thing is that we're also very keen for people to become mentors to these businesses. I'm not expecting all of you to shove your hand in the air and say, I'll do it. But you know somebody who could be a mentor. You all know somebody who could be an advisor to these businesses. You all know of somebody who has a supply chain into which one of these businesses could fit. You also know of somebody who has a distribution system who these businesses could use. Because in all of these cases, the businesses that you help will grow and earn revenue. The connections bit is obvious. And the last bit of the puzzle is the investment piece. Now, I'm not expecting you this evening to put your hands up and say, I'll invest. But if you want to start a conversation this evening, then I really encourage you to do so. Or if you know somebody else who should be interested in investing or working with them or partnering, then again, make that connection, because that is what is going to make the difference. Now, the other thing that you also ought to know is that I have already briefed the entrepreneurs that they are here to make an ask of the audience. So I've also made it clear to them that you are keen to hear and understand what the problem is that they are wanting to solve and how they're wanting to solve it, and how you can help them make the change or make the difference or solve the problem. I've also said that we work collaboratively. I'm not about thinking like a shark, which is an individual, and I'm not thinking like a dragon, which is a mythical being that spits fire. I am talking about us being a school of dolphins who work together in order to create a solution. These businesses, in combination with what you can do, will make a difference. And if we can work together, then we will hopefully make not just their little bit of Africa better, but more generally, we will actually make the world a better place. So they've each got an ask, I hope, and if they don't, Heather will drag it out of them. I've already told them that. And of course, they get 3 minutes, and if they go over, then we have these gentlemen here to make sure that they can't. Unfortunately, you don't see it, but there's a clock here, so they will be able to tell whether or not they're going to run over time or not. It's a disadvantage because they move a little bit before the time. What I haven't told them is that I can guarantee you one of them will look and see whether or not the guardsmen are actually doing something. They're all looking at me in there. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing for you is please enjoy the evening, and afterwards go take notes. You've got a book, a lookbook. Take notes if you need to, and make contact. There's also the app, which is up and running, and Heather will give you all the necessary information in order to get the maximum benefit, not only to you, but also to our entrepreneurs. So thank you again for coming, and I'm now going to hand over to Hiram. Where are you? There you are. This is the Chief Executive of the Royal Academy of Engineering, and she's going to tell you a little bit what they're doing before she stands down and allows Heather to referee this whole evening, hopefully. Yes? Good. Thanks very much, everybody. Hi, Hiram.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As you've heard, my name is Silom. I'm the Chief Executive of the Royal Academy of Engineering, and I'm really delighted to be here tonight with so many of you. The Academy launched the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation 5 years ago now to stimulate, celebrate, and reward innovation and entrepreneurship across sub-Saharan Africa, and we have not been disappointed. Each year we receive hundreds of detailed business plans from right across the continent, and our hard-working judges, some of whom are here tonight, do a fantastic job of whittling those down into just 16 who receive our special package of bespoke business training and mentoring, access to networks, and for our lucky finalists, seed funding too. Our 72 alumni have so far raised more than $11 million. They employ over 500 people, and their innovations have positively impacted over 1.2 million lives. And I'm really excited that we're just about to introduce you to our next cohort, who I'm sure are going to make an equally impressive impact. We are extremely grateful to His Royal Highness for partnering with us for pitchatpalace Africa. And we'd also like to acknowledge the support of the Global Challenges Research Fund and the Shell Centenary Scholarship Fund. So this is the third year where the entire Africa Prize shortlist has been given the opportunity to pitch to you in this really wonderful setting. I mean, what an opportunity this is. So it's no surprise that each year when we ask them at the end of the process what their personal highlight has been, they say it was standing on this stage in front of all of you. Though I suspect if you were to ask them right now, they might not say that. The engineering entrepreneurs who are here tonight are not just here to inspire you and thrill you, although I hope they will do that too. Oh no, they want something from you. They want your contacts, they want your expertise, and as the Duke said, they'd be very happy to accept any investment that you wish to part with, or any that you can persuade others to part with. It is really a very special opportunity for them, but also actually I hope for you too. You never know, you could be backing the next Mo Ibrahim, Martha Lane Fox, or Aliko Dangote. So before I hand over to Heather, who's going to look after us for the rest of the event, I want to ask you for one favour. In your bags, you'll find a flyer with information about the prize, and towards the end of this month, we'll be opening the next round of the prize. We'd love your help making sure we get as many applications as possible so that we can continue to identify and support really outstanding entrepreneurs from across the continent. Finally, I would like to thank once again His Royal Highness the Duke of York for this very special platform that he gives to these fantastic entrepreneurs, as well as all of you for supporting their journey. Pitchers, very best of luck. Thank you.
Actually, Hiram, can you just come back a minute? Okay. No. Before we even start on being inspired by the pitches, I just wanted to say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, don't you think that in this week of International Women's Day, to have a female CEO of the Royal Academy of Engineering be so inspirational?
And our female president is sitting right here as well, Dame Mandela.
Thank you very much. So I'm the mysterious Heather that's been mentioned about 10 times so far, without any clue who I am. I am a professor at Heriot-Watt University. I am the head of the business school there, and I'm very honoured to be here tonight. I have to confess a great interest in Africa. I grew up in northern Nigeria as the child of an expatriate, and Africa is a very special continent to me. Now, the first thing we have to do is a bit of housekeeping. First of all, you can ignore all the signs all over the palace that say no use of photography. Okay, everyone's to use photography all the time, please. And on all your badge, at the back of your badge, is the login for the Wi-Fi network. Please feel free to log in. In particular, can you make sure that you have the app? I'm sure you've already had it on your phone to get in with, but the app will allow you to connect with the entrepreneurs, to tweet about them, to email them. Honestly, it is the most magic app, all right? It is a true special power, that app. And it is, as it was said, a lot of the asks are going to be today about your connections. And so, feel free to connect as far as possible. It's also how we're going to vote. And there will be a vote in the room for the best pitch. And so we need everyone to be voting as well. You also, on the app, can see lots of other things about what Pitch at the Palace are doing. It is the most extraordinary and very powerful and very impactful movement which was started by the Duke of York in 2014, and I think we're all very, very grateful that it's had such a fabulous impact. Now, one last bit of housekeeping. I will introduce the company and the country that it comes from. There'll be details about it in the book that you've all got on your chair. They will get, as His Royal Highness mentioned, 3 minutes. If they go over the 3 minutes, this is what will happen. Gentlemen. This is much more effective than some woman in the front row going, "Stop now." Okay. Yes. We should all give them a round of applause, actually. At the end of the pitch, after they finish their 3 minutes, I will come on stage and ask them a question, and the question will depend on what they've said, so I haven't practiced it, so we'll see what I ask. But I hope you all enjoy it, and I'd like to welcome our first company to the stage. Now, pitchers, have we got our first company lined up? I'm a bit worried about the lack of people in the room. The first company that's going to pitch tonight is from Kenya. And the name of the company is Joakali Smart. Welcome.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm James Ochuka from Kenya, and my startup is Joakali Smart. In the UK, if you need to buy furniture, you'll probably go to IKEA. Well, in Kenya, it's a little different. Even though there are people ready to spend up to 240 million US dollars every year on these kinds of products, 500,000 artisans who can make these very products actually live in poverty. In Kenya, these artisans are called Joakali. If there was technology that could actually link these two groups of people together, then we'd be able to lift 500,000 people out of poverty. Joakali Smart seeks to do just that. Through our platform, our web and mobile-based platform, artisans are able to upload their products, and customers from different parts of the country are able to go through different products from different artisans and find the artisan that has the particular skill set to make the kind of product that they want. And when they do that, they can connect with them and deal with them. To test this idea, we set up a Facebook page, and the results were overwhelming. Within 2 weeks, 200 artisans had already registered with us, and 2,000 people had liked our page, ready to connect with these artisans. During the trial, however, we noticed that there's a little bit more. There's mistrust between these two groups of people. The artisans don't trust. The artisans are not ready to start working on the product before they see the money. And the customers are not ready to pay before they see the product. So Joakali Smart solves this problem by acting as an escrow. So we receive money from the customer, and we only release it to the artisans when they've finished making the product. Our business model is simple. We allow the artisans to subscribe to use our platform. So in a nutshell, we've identified the problem, we found a solution for it, and we are building a platform to solve this very problem. My ask for today is to seed investors to allow us, to give us an opportunity to fund us. Thank you.
James, well done. It's always tough going first.
It is. It is.
So I'll ask you the question that you didn't get to say, which is your ask for the audience. So you're looking for investment.
Yeah, we're looking for.
Specifically, how much money are you looking for? You can't whisper. They can all hear.
Let's say I'm looking for someone.
Yeah, somebody. So
yeah.
I'd be a strategic investor in your business.
Yeah,
okay.
someone who believes in the idea of connecting these kinds of people that
with
we're
their
working
customer base.
with their customers. And not just that, someone who has interest in modernizing an industry in manufacturing. So small-scale manufacturing as a whole. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope we will find that person for you, but thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you.
Do come. So our next company tonight is from the educational technology sector, and from Nigeria, the company is Xenafree.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elizabeth Barron, and I am the CEO of Xenafree. One of the reasons why there's such an education deficit in Africa is the fact that we have thousands of indigenous languages. So a lot of children grow up speaking their mother tongue as a first language. Then when they go off to school, they're expected from the get-go to start learning concepts in a foreign language, like English or whatever the lingua franca of that country may be. Adapting is very difficult for a lot of them, and this consequently leads to a shaky foundation that they are supposed to continue to build on, ultimately leading to poor grades, poor students, and poor graduates. So we have decided to leverage the increasing affordability of smartphones across the continent to build mobile applications that teach children in English, using cultural themes that are easy for them to understand. For example, one of our apps, Tissim, teaches toddlers and preschoolers their first words in English and a few indigenous languages, all in one handy app. They launched the app, and it looks like this, different categories for different languages. So a child who grows up speaking Hausa as a first language, for instance, will hear Daya in Hausa and one in English. We are hopeful that helping children learn these foundation concepts in a fun and engaging way will ultimately lead to better societal and educational outcomes. Our apps have been widely received. The feedback has been incredibly positive, and we have won several international awards and grants. We operate a freemium model, which means the apps are free to download, but additional content can be accessed for a fee. Going forward, we're working on an animated series that we intend to license to TV houses, media platforms, and cable providers. We're going to keep using our existing characters and the same themes. We're also going to start a streaming service on our website, and we're going to work our way towards creating a full-fledged educational platform. So our ask is not financial, it's access to market. If anybody can broker an introduction, we would love to have chats with the people at Netflix. We also would love to be introduced to content acquisition managers at any major TV network interested in acquiring animated TV content for kids. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good evening. See you guys.
Beth, thank you very much indeed. And you didn't even go over.
Yes, I beat them.
You looked a bit... It's not a competition. So tell me, why did you start it? What persuaded you to start this? What were you doing at the time?
I was actually at a crossroads in my life. Like, I had just finished school. I didn't want to do a 9-to-5. So I met my husband.
That's always a good strategy, but it's not the answer.
Funny story. We reconnected. He was a classmate of mine in secondary school. So we met on social media, and we started talking about the educational deficit in Africa, African folk stories, how it's a dying art. And he's a computer engineering graduate. So he said, let's build an app. So we built an app. The app won an award. And I was like, oh, there seems to be something here. So I married him. And we've been building mobile applications ever since.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. All right. Our next company is we're moving on now to the energy, environmental, and renewables technology. And the next company is our NFU Technologies from Kenya.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is George Chege, co-founder of NFU Technologies, and our product is the Smart Brooder. Why did the chicken cross the road? Stay tuned, and I hope by the end of this, we'll all have a better understanding. A chick gets hatched at around 38 degrees from the incubator without any feathers. So if you are to bring it and place it in such a room, which is at around 20 degrees centigrade, it would definitely freeze to death in a matter of a few hours. Farmers understand this, but they use old and archaic heating methods, mainly charcoal. which is basically very unreliable, since over time it starts to reduce in intensity, making the farmers have to be uneasy, having to check at the heat at 2 hours of the night. These systems cannot be automated and are very unreliable, as I said earlier. So my journey begins back in campus, when I tried poultry with 2 of my friends back in 2014. We expected rosy results, but instead we found that we had 35% mortalities, which led to around 30% loss against a 30% profit we had projected. There are over 1.6 million farmers in Kenya alone who face such problems. And with the help of my co-founders, John Kimani, our business development lead, and William Whittaker, our customer relations lead, who was actually one of our early customers, we are proud to present to you the Smart Brooder, basically a poultry house environmental controller that essentially is your digital mother hen. It monitors the chicks using IoT-based sensors, and these sensors are used to automate cleaner, more efficient heat sources, mainly electricity and LPG gas, reducing the environmental footprint. And this is based on the ages of the chicks. Since as they're aging, their requirements keep on changing, and we have to account for that. Farmers can rest assured knowing that they will receive SMS alerts whenever anything goes wrong, providing them with peace of mind. Farmers experience such benefits as reduced mortality rates, and some have even up to 0%. And others have reduced heating costs by up to 50%, resulting in a 15% increase in their profits. We have 20 customers and 40 users running a profitable business in Kenya. We believe we can take better care of our natural world and environment. And we hope you could join us in doing this by providing us with links to organic poultry farmers across Europe, by providing us with access to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that is doing a lot of work in poultry in Africa. And we'd also want a £50,000 investment to help us get this to market faster. So when the chicken crossed the road again, we believed she crossed to get herself one of our smart roaders.
Thank you very much. Tell us a bit about the size of the market that you believe.
So in Kenya alone, we have 1.6 million farmers, and Kenya happens to be the 6th largest country in terms of poultry production in Africa. So the market is worth millions and millions of farmers across Africa. And for statistics, the world has around 20.8 billion chickens. And if you were to put that in monetary value, that's close to $100 billion in terms of the market across the world.
Brilliant. We don't lack ambition. That's what we like in our entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. And now the next company, which is also from Kenya, is Magic Water.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Beth Koigi, and I'm from Kenya. I'm a CEO and co-founder at Magic Water. Did you know that there is 6 times more water in the atmosphere than there is in all rivers around the world? But the UN estimates that by 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in water-stressed regions. And in fact, at the moment, 24 million Kenyans are water-stressed. My co-founders and I, Claire, who is an economist from Oxford University, and Anastasia, who is an environmental scientist, we started looking at air as a huge untapped water resource. Currently, we are using condensation as a model to get water from the atmosphere. And with this, we've done 4 installations with 3 clients and over 300,000 in revenue. But we are always looking for ways to improve this technology, and especially in terms of energy efficiency. Currently, we are looking at using desiccants. An example of desiccant is silica gel. So when you buy a new shoe or a new electronic, you find this small packet of silica gel. And the way they work, they actually absorb excess moisture from the atmosphere. And when you heat them up, they release that water in form of water vapor. With this new technology, we'll be able to actually get water from even very arid regions. Giving you an example, in this room right now, it's around 67% relative humidity. And in Sahara Desert, it's around 20% relative humidity, meaning we can get water even in one of the most driest regions in the world, even basic drinking water. So with this technology, we are also looking at actually decreasing the energy consumption. So how much electricity do you use per liter of water? We are looking for 100,000 pounds to actually test the desiccant technology in off-grid regions. We are also looking for connection with the Shell Foundation, but I'm lucky I will get an introduction already, and with Coca-Cola. Thank you.
So water scarcity and water as a resource is something that's right at the top of lots of people's agendas. And, so, are the people doing this? Are you in competition with anybody? Who else is involved in that?
Actually, I would say this technology is already being tried in different forms. There are people who are doing fog harvesting or mist harvesting in places like Peru and Ethiopia, mostly in the highlands where there is very high mist or humidity levels. But no one is trying in actually sub-Saharan Africa or in very dry regions. I would say Kenya is 90% arid, so we haven't seen this kind of technology, and actually these regions are the regions that actually need water most. So trying it in this kind of setting is actually very new, and also this technology is growing with time. Yes.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you all the very best. Thank you. And our next entrepreneur is from a company called Saleh Kudu from Burkina Faso.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Safia Tunana. I'm the founder and CEO of Saleh Kudu from Burkina Faso. This lady in the left picture is called Noeli. She owns a small farm and spends more than 12 hours per day pulling water manually from wells to irrigate her crops. She experiences very low productivity and makes very little money out of it. Now, 80% of the 100 million people who are living in poverty in Africa are small-scale farmers just like Noeli. They face a deep pain when it comes to irrigation, and they live off the grid. Now, think of a product that can lift these poor families from poverty to middle class in just one season. That product is Saleh Kudu. Saleh Kudu is a transportable solar system that the farmer can take to his farm during the day, pump water for irrigation, and also charges a battery that he can take back home in the night and power his house. Unlike other solutions in the market, our technology is 5 times more efficient and 8 times more cheaper, and farmers who use our technology are able to increase their production by 300%. We also accompany the farmer with agronomy tips to help them produce quality produce that they can sell and make more money. If you invest in one unit of our technology, you'll be able to make a return on investment within 6 months and thereafter generate profit. I'm an energy engineer, and I team up with an agronomist and a software developer, and we are passionate about helping transforming lives and working conditions of small-scale farmers across Sub-Saharan Africa. Right now, we have a working prototype, and we make money by renting the system to groups of 8 to 10 farmers who pay us little money as 30 pence per farmer per day. Our ask today is a combination of partnership with NGOs who are fighting poverty in Africa, and we would like to raise £50,000 to build 20 units that will help us launch our pilot series and also to establish a production facility. Join us to fight poverty by helping these poor people in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. It's very inspiring to see so many women on the stage presenting their companies. When you got started, what was the hardest thing?
Starting, I would say it's more of getting people to really trust in you, because as a female entrepreneur, most of the time people would trust more the male entrepreneurs than us. So
sorry, you're speaking truth here. I mean, you know.
Yes. Yes, so we have to work hard and prove that we can do it. And yes, we can do it.
But you've never stopped believing that it was possible.
Never.
Okay. Thank you. Right, so we're moving away now from the world of energy and environment to fintech. And from Nigeria, the company we are going to see next present is called Kooky.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm honored to have your audience to tell you about our innovation. I'm Kooky. I'm a PhD candidate from the University of Chicago in theoretical physics. And over here is my co-founder, Princess, who is a UK-trained lawyer from Queen's University here in the UK. Many people do not realize how expensive it is to send money out of Africa. And you're probably wondering what the physicist is doing in the fintech world. But I'm here because we got into this problem because I was once an international student, and my parents would struggle to send money over to me. And did you know it cost $100 to send $500 from Ghana to the US? That's how expensive it is. And so no one can do that. My parents literally aren't going to do that. So what do? They resort to informal means. And one popular method is called the peer-to-peer money swap solution. So let me tell you how it works. So my mom is going to take up the phone, and she's going to call her friend in the US, and she will say, hey, can you please pay my son in California, and I'll pay your mom in Nigeria the amount. And no money crosses the border. She doesn't have to deal with the banks, and it's all free. And so people do this a lot, but as you can imagine, it doesn't scale. What if my mom's friend doesn't want to send money at the same time with her? And when at that time comes, she has to go seek other means to send money, and then she ends up dealing with people she doesn't trust. And so we thought to ourselves, and we said, how can we make this work? Well, the origin of this problem in the first place originated from the fact that a lot of African countries have scarcity of forex. So we said, what can we do? Well, we take the same solution, we create a mobile platform where everyone can post their offer and people can match up. But how do we make it secure? We take that platform and we give it to African banks. And the banks now do not have to worry about processing forex to handle retail end remittance, and they can just ensure a peer-to-peer direct money swap and ensure it's safe and secure. We provide access to their customers by including this platform on their internet and mobile banking. And now they can also make profit for themselves simply by just doing a money swap without having to do with any forex. We've launched recently, and we've had a bank in Ghana offer to try out our innovation. But that's just one bank. We want to be in every bank, because once we get to every bank, guess what? People can now send money directly from one African country to another. That doesn't happen easily. Actually, you can send money directly from one African country to another. It has to go out of Africa and come back. But with Kooky, you can have a direct peer-to-peer money swap between African countries. So I need you to help me get the connections to the decision makers at these African banks who we can demonstrate our innovation to, and they can trial it out, and we can grow. We're a young startup. We also need funds to build our platform. And so we're looking for seed investments of about £150,000 to develop our platform. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You saw you just made it.
Yes.
So do you want to name a few banks?
Oh, yes. Exactly. Thank you. That's a good question.
It's always good to be specific with the ask.
Yes. We want to meet the chairman of the United Bank of Africa, Tony Elumelu.
See, I knew you'd have a specific ask, yes?
Yes. Yeah, and EcoBank as well.
Okay.
They're a big Pan-African bank. We think that the moment one of them sees the value we bring, they could scale this across Africa and enable a solution where people would be able to send money from the comfort of their homes And this fits in super well because a lot of fintechs cannot send money out of Africa. They're shut out of this market because of the forex issues, so they can't operate with this. So I do believe the banks would like this because they are made to send money out and they have all the licenses.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Right, moving right along, we're now moving into the sector of health and wellbeing technology. And from Kenya, we'd like to welcome to the stage the company Changjo Plus.
Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, if you are to plan a vacation, a family vacation abroad today, you'd probably spend a whole day looking for your vaccination card in order to understand what vaccines you've received and which vaccines you need for your travel, right? I'm very sure 90% of you will not find their vaccination cards or that of your children. And probably you'll go to a health facility, and at the health facility, imagine a healthcare worker going through the booklet on your screen, looking through entries to help you understand what immunizations your child has received. This is a challenge for majority of health workers across the world, and particularly in Africa. This is why in 2017, according to the World Health Organization, about 19 million children missed out on immunization because we couldn't basically track what vaccines they received or even where they received the immunization from. So this is why we created Changjo Plus. Changjo Plus is a cloud-based mobile phone-supported application that enables that creates digital identification for children to enable healthcare workers to track what vaccines a child receives, when they receive the immunization, where they receive the immunization from, and they update their vaccine entries on the go just by dialing *304# on any mobile phone, feature phone, smartphone, you are covered, okay? Why would you consider Changjo Plus as an investor or as a partner? We believe we are the future of immunization because with Changjo Plus, you can access your entries anywhere you go real time. So far, we have a team of 4 currently with professional background in software engineering, marketing, and public health. We've been able to reach 13,000 children. We have 3 paying clinics. We have registered almost 500,000 doses of vaccines on the platform currently. And we have partnered with about 5 partners in Kenya, currently including Microsoft and Amref Health Africa. We have worked with 200 community health workers to date, and we are looking for your support. This year, we are hoping to reach 56,000 children by the end of 2019. In order to do this, we have proven that this works. We need you to join us in the journey to transform the lives of children. We're asking for £50,000 in order to scale our onboarding of these children, to train our healthcare workers, and basically just onboard our children going forward. We are also looking for partnerships from foundations and impact-led organizations to be able to scale our reach and scale our impact. Our business model is threefold. We license the technology to clinics, we offer registration fees per child, for every child, and we have a monthly maintenance fee as a recurring revenue. So as an investor, you are covered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So let me just come over this side for a change.
Okay, cool.
So tell us about the existing work you've already done and the clinics you've already had. How did you find them? How did you go out and find those clinics?
So one of the things we did was, and I want to thank Amref Health Africa specifically because we went and talked to the country director of Amref Health Africa, presented the platform we had, and he believed in the impact we had. And the clarion call of UHC, the universal healthcare coverage right now, is leave no one behind. Yeah. We believe that you cannot leave any child or anyone behind if you don't know who everyone is. So you start by identifying who everyone is, and that is what we are doing. Then now we can look at, have we left anyone behind, and prove that we have indeed left anyone behind. So I want to thank Amref Health Africa for the support. They've enabled us to reach these clinics. We reached these clinics through them because the clinics we had were clinics that were supported by Amref Health Africa. So really.
Right, so the connections that the audience could provide you would be to people
definitely.
who could reach more clinics.
Yeah, so if all of you can provide us any connection, we would reach more children, we would create impact, we would transform lives.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And our next entrepreneur is from Nigeria, and the name of the company is Mobi Health International.
His Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Fumi Adewara, founder and CEO of Mobi Health International.
the revolutionary digital healthcare startup you want to partner with. I'm a UK-based physician of Nigerian heritage and a Cambridge-trained bioscience entrepreneur on a mission to revolutionize access and delivery of healthcare across Africa, leveraging on the explosive mobile technology adoption. I'm sure that you're all aware of the various challenges millions of people in Africa face trying to access basic healthcare. I'm not boring you with those stories. I want to draw your attention to a fundamental barrier, which is the shortage of doctors. According to the United Nations report, Africa bears 25% of global disease burden, but is serviced by only 2% of world doctors. Nigeria's 190 million population has only 72,000 doctors. More than half of them work outside the country. 9 in 10 want to leave at the earliest opportunity. My personal tragedy as a child that has left me with a deformity in my index finger contributes to my search for innovative, scalable, cost-effective solutions that can change the poor narrative of Africa's healthcare landscape. And this is why I founded Mobi Health, as we can now leverage digital revolution to provide clinical care at a distance. I know you're sitting there wondering, this is another telemedicine company. How do you differ? Well, here's how we stand out. We are pioneering the first integrated model that connects millions of people in Africa with more than 100,000 multilingual medical experts that speak their languages. The quality and the quantity of our doctors sets us apart from competitors. We're building a database of more than 100,000 doctors across the world. Our low-cost subscription plan is pocket-friendly and covers all the user's healthcare need for the whole year. So we are the one-stop shop for the user's healthcare need without escalation of cost, whether they see a specialist or a general physician. We're launching this month. We've partnered with a major mobile company in Nigeria to distribute our app to more than 15 million users. When we capture 2% of this market, our revenue is in excess of $200 million. We'll be able to reach out through our mobile clinics to rural areas through our corporate social responsibility. Today, our ask is to connect with BBC, Ms. Emily Crisio, as well as Mr. Steve Crabtree, to give us a platform on their BBC Africa platform to increase awareness. Secondly, we want to connect with investors. If you take this transformational journey with us, you will not only be making a good return on your investment, you'll be saving millions of lives.
So I'm intrigued about the BBC. Why the BBC?
Because we believe that it's a revolutionary app that has the potential to transform lives, and we want to create awareness so that people can find us and know that this solution exists.
Right, and you think that's the biggest awareness possibility on a Pan-African basis?
We think so. Having just a 10-minute on the BBC Africa or CNN Africa to talk about this will be incredible.
Right, well, we're working on that then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely. So, and the next company is from Zambia, and it is the Safe Motherhood Alliance.
Good evening. My name is Muzulema Mwanza from Zambia. Meet Sarah. Sarah's 8 months pregnant, and in a couple of weeks' time, a traditional birth attendant will cut her umbilical cord with a rusty blade and apply toothpaste for quick healing. For Sarah and her baby, there is no such thing as a routine pregnancy. Globally, every year, 300,000 women and 2.7 million babies die during the brief window period between a baby's birth and a baby's first month. The major challenges are lack of access to sterile supplies, lack of access to medical personnel, distances to the nearest health facility, and the high cost. I know all this because it happened to me. A year and a half ago, when I was pregnant with my first child, the hospital told me that if I didn't provide my own birthing materials, I would be sent back. No delivery mat, no scalpel blade, no gloves. I was lucky I could afford it, and I had a healthy son. But I found it unacceptable that 1 in 7 babies and 1 in 10 mothers died because of this. My solution is a baby delivery kit. It contains all the essential supplies that a woman requires at childbirth, as recommended by WHO. Included in the kit is our biodegradable banana sanitary pad made from banana fiber. By manufacturing some of the items in the kit, we've been able to reduce the cost to up to 1/3 of the price. We run a pilot with 1,000 kits. All 1,000 mothers and their newborns survived. Our business model is threefold. We sell directly to pregnant women. We sell to the mothers through the Ministry of Health in the clinics and hospitals, and we sell to traditional birth attendants, whom we train, and they become our distribution agents, economically empowering them. We also use mobile technology to connect the pregnant women with the traditional birth attendants so that no woman should have to give birth alone. Our competitors are chemists, but they're expensive at $30, or traditional birth attendants, but they're unskilled. Our solution costs $5. I have a team of specialists. I'm a civil engineer, and I have a team of experts who are conversant in product management and logistics. I need an investment of $250,000 in order to invest in infrastructure development and product management. I also need connections to impact investors. This problem should not exist because we believe every woman should not die during pregnancy anywhere in the world. Thank you.
So I'm intrigued that is this a business or is this a social enterprise?
It's a social enterprise.
Right.
Yes.
And would you also be able to connect, do you think, with NGOs or with people doing that kind of thing, with the White Ribbon Alliance?
Yes, actually we're working with humanitarian aid in Zambia, helping women in low-income communities and rural areas who don't have access to these items. Right. And there are a lot of home births, so this problem is not unique to Zambia alone. It's all over Africa and a lot in developing countries.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And now, from South Africa, the company is called Technovera.
In 2014, I was diagnosed with tuberculosis. I started treatment for about 8 months, where I needed to go collect repeat monthly collections at my local clinic for my medicine. My challenge was not my disease or my diagnosis or my treatment. My challenge was the fact that I was losing about 3 hours every time I needed to go collect medication at my local clinic. South Africa is one of the biggest ARV programs in the world. We have over 7.1 million people who are HIV positive, who we are putting on treatment. 7.1 million people who we're putting on treatment with about 3.5 hours in queues. It doesn't compute. That's a lot of wasted human potential. Our solution, our concept was, how can we take somebody from 3 hours to a couple of seconds? And what technology can we use to be able to do that? We've introduced smart lockers. It's an internet-enabled locker where we can take pre-packed medicine for a particular patient on a repeat chronic medication, put it inside. It sends them an alert via text telling them that now your medication is ready for collection. Here's a one-time PIN. The patient simply walks to the unit, enters their cell phone number with the PIN. It opens the door that has their medicine inside. They collect. Again, 3.5 hours to 36 seconds. What have we done so far? We've gone through the very difficult part of getting the National Ministry of Health in South Africa on our court. We have been able to convince them to run a structured pilot where we've put over 7,000 patients, where we serve over 7,000 patients through this particular technology. That's where we were able to prove that we can effectively be able to do that. We were also able to convince the South African Ministry, the South African Pharmacy Council of South African Pharmacy Council of South Africa, to effectively show them that we can prove that the right medicine goes to the right patient 100% of the time. On top of that, we can effectively show that we can control the cold chain. The medicine is controlled from a temperature perspective. We're here today wanting to get into the next step. We want to be able to go from one controlled pilot to multiple sites. Our core focus is looking at 2 organizations that we'd like to engage with. The 2 people that we are asking your assistance to reach is the personal assistant to Ms. Emma Wormsley from GSK and the personal assistant to Mr. Pascal Asofiot from AstraZeneca. We believe that these 2 organizations have a focus on innovation and access to medicine, which is the core of what we do. We're a team of professionals with a background in manufacturing, healthcare, systems engineering, and software development. I'm here from Technovera in South Africa, focusing on access to medication. Thank you.
Hello, I'll just come the other side of you. So this looks fabulous. How did you decide where to put that first batch of lockers? I mean, what was the decision about the location?
Yeah, so because we had to work with partners, we wanted, and it was a controlled pilot, so we wanted to set a selection of group of patients first and then run that iteration. We put it in a clinic where there isn't too much of a change management context of a patient. They used to go into the clinic, let's put it there, but let's get them in and out as quickly as possible. The next evolution is obviously to put it closer to where the patient is, whether this is shopping centers. Think about the Amazon locker, think about the click and collect sort of model. That's effectively what we're doing for access to medicine.
Right. Excellent. Well, we look forward to hearing what happens next. Thank you. And our next company is Well Knew Me from Nigeria.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Obi Bukwe and I'm the CEO of Well Knew Me. 15 years ago I was diagnosed with hypertension, which affects 1 in 3 adult Nigerians. I was one of the lucky ones. However, my friend Morgan wasn't. In 2010, he went into work, collapsed, and died. He had just had a stroke, leaving behind a wife, 2 kids, and a business that needed him. Hypertension, along with diabetes and cancer, are amongst a group of diseases known as non-communicable diseases. They're the leading cause of premature deaths in people between the ages of 20 to 70 years old, and has been identified as a global threat to development and productivity. This is a big worry for a lot of companies. They've adopted a number of approaches to tackle this problem, including health management promotions, as well as disease management programs. We've developed a tool at Well Knew Me that empowers employers to carry out health risk assessments on their employees, adopt a more holistic approach to health management, as well as carry out data-driven decisions improving productivity. We do this simply by sending out a unique link to each user that is onboarded on our platform, where they're presented with a lifestyle survey, and the responses that they make are then analyzed by algorithms that take into context the local nature of the markets where we're in, and then stratify and determine the health risks for each individual. We run a simple business model where we do a subscription-based model itself, and so far we've engaged 5 companies in Nigeria on our platform. We've also partnered with a health insurance company to carry out assessments on their enrollees. Our unique development of this platform itself has also allowed us to incorporate other applications onto our platform, such as we're currently in talks with SageRise Africa so that they can integrate our own platform with their own HR software. The core of our team is composed of 3 medical doctors with over 55 years experience in the healthcare sector. Our ask here today is to meet with Google DeepMind so they can help us develop our algorithms further and machine learning. We're also looking for connections to companies that have international operations in Nigeria, such as Shell and KPMG. And we're also looking to partner with companies such as AstraZeneca that run CSR projects in deterring NCDs in Nigeria. Thank you.
I think you just about got your ask out there, did you? Was there any part of your ask you didn't get?
Got everything out.
Oh, no, that's great. No, and so tell us about the three of you. How did the three of you that started this, you said?
There are 5 of us actually.
Five of you?
Well, the core team is composed of 3 medical doctors.
All right. And where did you all meet each other?
Along different times in life. So I actually went to school with one of them. And the second one, we actually worked together in a clinic. And
what was the thing that just got you to break out and start then?
I was diagnosed with hypertension. So it's a
That
long
was
time.
the thing that you,
So
your personal
it did,
experience.
but personal experience. So it got me thinking about, because I was living in England at the time, it also got me thinking about the number of people that actually do not have access to preventive health services.
Yes.
Which is apparently only about 1% of employees in Nigeria actually have, or even in the whole of Africa, actually have access to preventive health services.
So lots of big employers is what you want to get to.
Yes, so
Brilliant.
we can reach more people.
Okay,
and
we'll
help
make
them.
sure that we help that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So we're moving on now to industrial technology, and our first company in this sector is Auto Truck from Kenya.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ken Gwantai from Kenya and the founder of Auto Truck East Africa Limited. The man you see here is not a madman. He is trying to do what he likes best to earn a living, just like anybody else. But personally, I don't like the mode of transport he uses to earn a living because, one, it is a risk to his health, and it's also very tedious to him. So, conventional manual handcart has been in use in Africa since time immemorial. Thousands of young unemployed youth, such as this man, have been using this handcart to carry items from one point to another to earn a living. There are more than 500,000 such handcarts in Kenya alone, according to the UN Habitat. And more than 1 million families rely on income generated out of this handcart. Now, I came up with a solution to mitigate this. I founded Auto Truck East Africa Limited to manufacture and fabricate electric handcarts, which are more effective, user-friendly, increases the productivity level of these people, hence increasing their income level. We target both formal and informal sector of the market. The formal sector comprises of the airport, big farm, industries, and hospitals. Their marginal propensity to buy is very high as compared to the informal sector. The informal sector comprises of the city vendors, small-scale farmers, and other small-scale farmers, and women and the people with disabilities. Their marginal propensity to buy is very low. So I introduced a unique model for them to be able to purchase this product. We do monthly subscription, leasing, as well as asset financing by partnering with local banks. I have obtained a patent for these products, and we are authorized to operate in Kenya and East Africa community. I've partnered with local and international agencies like UN Habitat and Urban Pathways. And to put to your note, I was ranked as one of the most promisable bankable projects in the world by the Urban Pathways. Now, we are asking for $500,000 to be able to set up a simple assembly line in Nairobi and fabricate this handcart. Together, we can eliminate this human slavery in Africa. Thank you.
So once you get your production line actually set up, what do you think? Are you going to be more successful than Tesla in actually getting it off the line? You know, will you be meeting your production goals? How many do you want to make?
Yes, so far we have sold 20 handcarts. By that time, I partnered with a major car production factory in Kenya to do it. But now I want to be independent.
And build your own production?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Brilliant. And how many carts do you want to make? What's the demand, do you think?
I'm officially launching mass production by end of this March, once I arrive back in Kenya. And I want to produce like 500 at the end of this year on.
Right, 500,
Yes,
right.
yes. We have received several pre-orders already. I'm waiting for something small to simulate me to be able to fabricate them for them.
So lots of pre-orders and a production line already. Sounds familiar? I think that that's a brilliant thing. So pre-orders and everything, I think you'll have no problem getting the money. Well done. Thank you. So the next company is from South Africa, and it is Protea Machine Tools.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Lucas du Plessis, and my vision is to unlock Africa's manufacturing potential. I grew up on a farm in South Africa, and we had a dairy. And looking back, it's no surprise that some of my kindergarten friends thought that milk came from a grocery store. Similarly, if you have never seen a machine tool in action, it will be news that every physical end-user product, not digital, every physical end-user product goes through a manufacturing process, the backbone of which is machine tools. Gartner research reports that global machine tool consumption in 2015 was $79.1 billion. Africa's share, 1%, making my vision of unlocking Africa's manufacturing potential very relevant. Is it important to lift Africa's share? Well, the top 4 countries on the global machine tool consumption list, also appear in the top 4 rankings of the GDP rankings, be it in a different order. How do I propose do we lift Africa's share? We start a machine tool company in South Africa. Hooray for Protea Machine Tools. Do we now manufacture standard machine tools in competition with multinational companies? No, we will never survive. Hooray for the hybrid parallel serial machine tool, destined to be revolutionary in terms of speed, accuracy, and cost. Will this patent pending innovation work? There are 3 milestones that indicate that it will. 1, I have a solid international research track record. 2, testimonials on our website show that the early adopters are on board. And 3, the frame of the first prototype is complete and is currently located in the premises of the first user where it will be tested on completion. Our team consists of 2 members, and my partner, Conrad Mahuma, is affiliated with Zeiss Industrial Metrology. He will do the after sales as he has done for 8 years in South Africa, the Netherlands, and Belgium. Our ask is for a strategic partner, someone like Zeiss Industrial Metrology or an existing machine tool builder, to establish and grow Protea Machine Tools into the first world-leading machine tool company in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. So you and Conrad are ready to take on the world then?
Yes.
Yes? And who do you think your first customers might be?
Well, the first user is involved in the dental and medical implant industry. He manufactures dental implants, and they seem quite interested. So we hope to target that market first.
Right.
Yes.
And when do you hope to, to start to scale that then?
Well, the clock is ticking. So prototype one must be up and running by the end of 2019.
Right.
And 2020 will see the launch of Protea Machine Tools at the Africa Machine Tool exhibition in South Africa in Johannesburg.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next company we welcome to the stage is Sandel from Nigeria.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dele. I'm the founder of Sandel from Nigeria. In sub-Saharan Africa alone, over 33% of food is lost because of lack of access to post-harvest technologies. 60% of this is actually due to drying alone. And that is why 80% of African farmers today still rely on sunshine to dry their produce. I mean, that is unimaginable. Of course, this exposes the produce to a lot of contamination, food poisoning, and of course, huge revenue loss. And what is the problem? Why is this so? The problem is because imported dryers in African markets are actually very high in cost, they are limited in capacity, and they are not flexible to different crops that is produced in Africa. Our 3D 3P rotary dryer that you see on the screen is a new technology, a new dryer. It's an industrial dryer. It is about 50% cheaper than the flash dryer which you have in the market. The flash dryer costs about £27,000 per unit. Ours cost about £14,000 per unit. Ours can produce double the capacity of the flash dryer that we have in the African market today. Of course, we're also proud that this dryer is patented in Nigeria right now, and we have sales traction already. Less than 10 months ago, we started to sell. Pericom Nigeria Limited is the first to buy into this technology because they believed in it. They bought 2 units about 10 months ago, and they were able to produce about 3,000 tons of high-quality feeds from it. Today, they want to buy 5 more units. We're very excited about that. Top Feeds is one of the largest feed mills in West Africa. Right now, they want 40 units of this dryer because we got traction, and they believe that the dryer is actually better than any other imported technology. Our most excitement right now derives with African Development Bank. They set up a technical team to come and evaluate our dryer because they heard about it because of this African prize. They came, we were invited, we spent 3 days in the field, and they couldn't believe that this was 100% made in Nigeria technology. Today, they have identified countries in West Africa that can buy into this dryer. We want to key into their TAAT program. They call it the Technologies for African Agriculture Transformation. There's $800 million set aside to support and distribute African technologies to transform African agriculture. We're very excited about this. We want to key into it. Ladies and gentlemen, my ask is that I want to meet the president of African Bank, who is Dr. Akiwumi. I know he's a very, very passionate person about African agriculture. We also need to scale up because of increasing demand. And for this reason, we need strategic partners, established manufacturing companies to partner with us and help us scale up. In the next few months, I know investors will be looking for me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you know that the president of the African Bank is passionate about agriculture?
Yes, it was the former Minister for Agriculture in my country, Dr. Akiwumi Adesina. He is someone I like so much. And secondly, he's also an alumnus of the same university where I teach right now. I'm a professor of agricultural engineering in one of the biggest universities in Africa.
Oh, right. Which university?
Obafemi Olo University in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Right, very good. Well, we wish you every success. It sounds like it's going really well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So we move now on to robotics, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. And from Kenya, we welcome to the stage Sign.io or Sign10. I never know which. Come and tell us.
Did anyone understand what I just said? Yes, I said hello. How about, did anyone understand what that means? That means good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thomas Modoni from Kenya, and I'm here to talk about Sign.io. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 466 million people in the world today have hearing or speech impairment and hence communicate using sign language. 16-year-old Martha is one such person, and she wants to be an entrepreneur. She's, however, concerned that she may not be able to communicate with her customers effectively, and that's the problem that Sign.io is solving. Sign.io is a sign language to speech translation technology comprising of a pair of gloves, paired to a user's smartphone. This is the glove, one of them. Our patent-pending technology translates with accuracy levels of 93%. A sign language user wears the gloves, and as they make the various gestures, they are vocalized in real time by their phones. This technology will not only give sign language users a sense of independence, but also allow them to thrive in a world where most people do not understand sign language, as is evident by the number of hands that were raised here today. So, in partnership with the Kooky School for the Deaf, we'll be running our first pilot in May this year, which will serve to help us refine our machine learning model in preparation for commercialization by the end of the year. So, to achieve this, we intend to have our users purchase our gloves on a subscription model rather than a one-off payment, since most people cannot afford that. So we invite you all to help us raise £50,000 to build up our inventory, because for the first batch of users, because they cannot pay off the one-off cost. So with your help, Girls Like Matter could be at pitchatpalace Global in 3 or 4 years' time, pitching their business to you using our Sign.io glove. Thank you.
Well, that was a very special presentation to me, because I work in a university where we teach British Sign Language, and which is a really big part of our university. So it's fantastic to see, and it's a lovely glove. Where do you have it made?
We make it in Kenya. The picture showed what's underneath, and this is a cover where you can customize. This is a material called kitenge in Kenya. So if you wanted to match your suit, we can definitely have that. We can definitely have that made for you.
That's lovely. Well, we look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we move to the section on smart cities. And from Uganda, we have Smart Havens Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am Anne from Uganda. According to World Bank, it is estimated that nearly 70% of Ugandans are living in overcrowded and substandard housing conditions. Considering the high population and urbanization growth rates, it is estimated that the Uganda's housing shortage will exceed 8 million units by 2035. Unfortunately, I grew up in a family, and in 2007, I happened to lose my father. Our home was grabbed by our relatives, and it is then that I realized how housing shortage compromises people's health, education, and development opportunities, since my mother had to spend more than 50% of her earnings on house rent. A reason Smart Havens Africa was started to take a slice of the $155 billion market in Africa, while creating a sustainable, affordable pathway to home ownership for women in Africa, using a humane rent-to-own plan, which is repayable in 3 to 10 years. We use a unique building technology that presses local on-site materials that builds durable and stronger homes. The homes are low cost, since our technology requires no plastering costs and uses less mortar. Our homes are also environmental friendly because the interlocking brick requires no firing. In the last 18 months, we have been able to house 160 people, saving 900 of Africa's trees, and our clients have been able to save 30% of their income. and we have been able to employ and train 3,000 women masons. We already have 10 acres of land, and we have support from Islamic Development Bank, and we are seeking for 300,000 pounds to achieve our annual plan of 125 housing units. And this will impact 600 women. Please join us to leave no woman behind without decent shelter. Thank you so much for listening.
And so you say you've now housed 150 people. What do you think you can do in a year? You know, how many people can you house in the next year, do you think?
The 125 housing units,
it's a lot of
like
people.
I said,
Yeah.
can house 600 people. We can build a 2-bedroom housing unit in 1 week.
In 1 week?
And this would cost £6,000 compared to £34,000 of a fired brick house, which is our competition. Because people in Africa are firing bricks, which is destroying our environment, and our bricks are built on site with locally available materials, making them low cost.
That's brilliant. Very inspirational. Thank you very much indeed. And then our last entrepreneur of the evening is also from Uganda, and is vertical and micro gardening.
My name is Paul, and I know about hunger. I am the youngest of 20 siblings. Yes, 20 siblings. Partly raised by my grandparents and partly by my stepmother. Growing up with my stepmother in the city wasn't easy because she couldn't put food on the table. She had no source of income, and there wasn't space for her to grow food for us. On many occasions, we went without lunch or dinner for many days. At various points in my life, I lived both in the city and in the village, and I can confidently tell you that hunger is worse in the city than it is in the villages. We are not alone. Reports by the UN indicate that by 2030, about 60% of the global population will be living in urban areas, and this will require more food production to feed the ever-increasing population. I grew up telling myself that I should find a solution to this problem. And when I was at university, I spent time to find the solution. And my solution, ladies and gentlemen, is the vertical farm. It is a vertical, stackable garden suitable for urban environments. It has a chamber in the center where the farmer puts biodegradable waste. The waste is converted into compost by the use of worms, and the compost can be used to grow food in an organic manner. It has a bearing system which makes it light efficient. It uses 70% less water. Unlike conventional agriculture, our product enables the farmer to grow crops all year round, hence enabling them harvest up to $355 worth of produce per production cycle. We have two versions, the premium version and the regular version. Premium for high income customers, and we sell that at $150, and the regular $110 for low income customers. We understand that low income customers like my stepmother may not afford, and that's why we sell through microfinance institutions on credit and cash arrangements. We are on track to boost our monthly sales targets from 22 to 72 vertical farms per month, and that's why we need you. We are seeking for $50,000 to set up a production plant and another $150,000 to bring the product to market in Uganda and across the region. I'm glad that I've been able to end hunger and starvation in my family and across many other low-income urban households. Together, we can end hunger and starvation in the cities. Thank you very much.
What's the most popular thing that they grow in this?
Oh, that's a good question. So we do needs assessment. Do you want to grow crops to get food, or do you want to grow crops to get money? And we recommend the type of crops based on your needs. But people have grown tomatoes, potatoes, kale, spinach, various crops. And we have tested all these crops through our pilot and testing process.
And they taste nice?
Very nice. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So His Royal Highness mentioned at the beginning the very uncomfortable chairs and suggested that I might be giving you a break at some point. You will notice no such break happened. But there is now going to be a 3-minute section of the proceedings where a video is going to play behind us. And during that 3 minutes, we would like you please to vote for your favourite entrepreneurs this evening on the app. Now, you can vote for up to 3 people, and you can stand up and do it, sit down and do it, stretch out and do it. So this is your opportunity. And as I said, during that time, a video will play. And at the end of the 3 minutes, the guardsman will play, and we will know that the end of the 3 minutes has happened, and then the next stage of the proceedings, the end of the proceedings will take place. So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and get that app out and get voting. Thank you.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for remaining so patient and uncomfortable. I don't know, somebody got these as a job lot some years ago, so I apologise for that. Look, we couldn't do this without the support of a huge range of partners, and I would just like to say thank you to all our partners for helping us get this to the level that we have done, and particularly the Royal Academy of Engineering, because without them this would be totally impossible. Those are your entrepreneurs who I think just listening to them has been inspiring beyond measure of the sorts of really great ideas that are coming out of Africa. And so I would just like again to pay my debt of gratitude and thanks to all of them for all the effort that they have done. So thank you all very much indeed. Of course, with everything, there has to be somebody who comes out on the top and the others not quite so close to the top. I can thank you all for voting and tell you that we have a top three, and we have a People's Choice Award, which is the award that is given to the person who has created the most interest on a social media platform. And so, first of all, the People's Choice Award goes to Sign.io. Well done, congratulations. Stay here. Then, in third place, Smart Havens Africa. Well done. In second place, Sign.io. Congratulations. And in first place, and I have to say today by a little bit more of a margin than normal, the Safe Motherhood Alliance. Well done, congratulations. Come and stand here. Now, there's just one other thing that I want to point out tonight, and I don't think this has anything to do with the international day that we are going. But have you noticed that we have 3 women? I did watch some of the boys voting going up, but you didn't get anywhere near this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all the time that you have spent in here. The time now is to go and get yourself, well, I've just seen them mixing the drinks, and so they're proper naval drinks. That means I know how much of the liquor they put in compared to how much of the other stuff they put in. So you should enjoy yourself. But make the contacts and the connections for all of these wonderful entrepreneurs who've come all the way from Africa and done a brilliant job tonight. And congratulations, all of you. Thank you very much indeed. And we need to look at him over there. Good, right.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you very much.